It has been absolutely crazy as of lately, barreling through every high level game, burning through the enemy lines. I'm talking about a sentient hamster and a former StarCraft Pro turned mecha pilot. That's right, Hammond Diva is the new kid on the block, and I'm here to show you how to play this beastly comp. My name is Nate, and welcome to Blizzard Guides. In this video, I'm going over the absolutely insane strategy that's been cropping up everywhere and how to run it effectively. I'm going to be focusing on the tank lineup, but I will dive into the DPS and support that you can run with it as well. This comp hasn't been getting as much exposure as it should, so I really just want to let you guys know about it so that you can have an edge in the game. I've been running it nearly every game on my main account, and it's been absolutely nutty to say the least, destroying the ever so common Rein Zarya. So with that said, let's get into this video. At number 5, I'm going to be explaining the crazy potential that this comp has. You can not only deal hundreds of points of damage nearly instantly, but you can also pretty much get a free pick with every coordinated jump that you do. Hammond and Diva have their pile drive and rocket barrage respectively, allowing them to quickly burst down squishies sequentially. You take that concept plus Diva's matrix and Hammond shields, and you get a comp that can just get in and out on the blink of an eye. Hammond jumps in and pile drives with Diva coming in slightly behind, matrixing Hammond, and then using boosters and left click finishes off targets that are low with the help of Hammond's damage. Technically neither are main tanks, but they are potent enough to not require such a shield reliant comp. If you run a DPS that can also help out with the damage or crowd control, you can just keep the dove targets stopped for a good 4 to 5 seconds, allowing you to melt them before they can move out of the way. It is really simple to execute the dive, but in the mid fight and subsequent fight it is a bit more difficult, so I'll be explaining both Diva and Hammond's roles respectively. At number 4, Hammond. Hammond's job in executing the dive is just pretty simple. Jump in, pile drive, shield, shoot, and then get out. However, once you get the kill, it's a bit different. If you're low, you either want to just fall back to your support and get healed up to provide them with safety and ult charge, or you want to get a health pack if there's one immediately available right there. If you aren't low, you just want to go in for another kill if possible with the help of your Diva or DPS. Then this is the part that most Hammonds do not understand. Rather than going back in and playing point and just staying directly next to your teammates, you actually want to push up slightly forward, using that hook and speed to literally just harass and boop around the enemy lines. You can pretty much move around any enemy that you want, so if you can essentially separate each enemy by themselves and then just chain a pile drive onto the most diveable enemy, you'll open up areas for your DPS to then swoop in and finish off the kill on the now separated enemies. It's harder to dive a ball of enemies that are clustered together than it is to dive a single target that's away from their team. You can keep repeating this, coming back to your supports when your shield cooldown is far away and you're half HP. And the last thing is just that when you've built your ult up, you just want to use it not necessarily to contest the point, but to create a safe space for your supports and DPS to stay in. While you may be very mobile, sometimes your supports will not be, so creating an area for them to stay in is more valuable than putting it on point or at a choke. You can still put it on a point or at a choke, but if your supports are important to capping a point or defending one, you probably want to just keep them safe with that ult rather than directly using it for damage. At number 3, Diva's role. Diva's role is pretty simple for this kind of comp, so this point will be a shorter one. Just like when you attack the first target, you're just going to want to do the same thing as Diva during the mid fight. If your Hammond goes in, pile drives, you want to be there to swoop in and use your rockets or left click to finish them off. Hammond's pile drive usually does around 100 damage if your Hammond does the combo right, so it's easy to kill the targets your Hammond dives as Diva. Then once that first dive is up, you just want to be watching your Hammond and looking for targets he harasses and dives. If he doesn't do that and plays back, you're just going to want to play back on the point with your Hammond. Essentially what you're going to be doing is just wait for your Hammond to disrupt somebody and then you help to kill. If your Hammond does disrupting from an ineffective position like point, that's okay, just make sure you're there to help. And also, you're usually going to be the only player being able to contest the high ground, so be sure to always watch for a hit scan or Hanzo that's on high ground killing your supports. You'll have to dive and matrix them if that happens. At number 2, I'm going to be going over the DPS that work well with this comp. First and foremost, just like with how Dive usually had a Genji Tracer, this comp will use Doomfist Sombra. Doomfist Sombra are by far the best heroes for this comp. Doomfist can dive in and play with the Hammond while Sombra hacks the targets that might have crowd control for your Hammond or Doomfist. You can usually also hack the shields of the enemy to allow for quicker kills, and then go invis and scout out the next target from the enemy's backline. However, if your team doesn't have a Sombra or Doomfist, I'm going to give you a few other options. If you have a Mercy, Pharah is also a super strong option. Reaper is also a good option, and if you have a Lucio with that Reaper, he's even better. Hanzo can be good sometimes, but that's assuming that your Hanzo has good aim. I've seen some players run Soldier here as well, but that can be kind of iffy because if the enemy mirrors you, they're just going to farm your Soldier. And finally, Widowmaker is something that can be done, but you have to play super far back as Widow, and you can't play very aggressive because of the lack of peel that you'll get. And lastly, at number 1, the support lineup. The best option by far is Ana Lucio. If you have a good Ana player, having Nano as an option is super powerful, and with the speed boost, you can get your DPS and tanks in there in a flash. Run these if you can, but if you can't, both Moira and Mercy are good replacements for Ana. Run Mercy if you have DPS that are going to be playing very far away or in the air, like Hanzo, Widow, or Pharah, and run Moira if you have DPS like Reaper, Doomfist, or anything that is just relatively close quarters. For the off heals, you can't really run Zen very well. Your Zen will get farmed pretty heavily, so Zen I would definitely stay away from. Brigitte is a solid option, definitely viable if you can get your Brig in the right spot to deal damage with the Hammond. It just requires a bit more coordination though, so be prepared for that. Anyway, let me know if this guide helped you guys out to understand the comp a bit better. I made this video because I haven't seen it covered very much, when it's pretty much just the only thing that I've been running on my main, which is sitting at low GM. So I wanted to give this a bit more exposure and cover it in a bit more of an informative way, rather than just reporting on it and saying that it is a thing. It works a lot like traditional dive with some minor differences. If this video helped you out, leave a like and comment how it helped you out. I'd love to get some feedback so that I can focus on what helps and what didn't. In a similar vein, if it didn't help you out, let me know in the comments down below why it didn't help you out so I can get rid of the stuff that is unhelpful. I'm just trying to help everyone out the best that I can. If you like what we've going on here and you want to see more tips and tricks videos, get subscribed and notified so that you never miss our uploads. In addition to content like this, we have weekly highlight videos so that you can see the best plays from around the globe. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a nice day. My name is Nate, and this was Blizzard Guides.